Once again, wonderful metrics, welcome to this wonderful session. Today, we'll now be moving to the human evolution section of this topic. Remember that we have started with the evolution by natural selection, whereby you guys were introduced to the basic concepts surrounding evolution. We talked about the concept surrounding Lamarckism. We talked about the concept surrounding the natural selection, as well as punctuated equilibrium. So now we have to go ahead into human evolution. Please make sure that you understand the previous concepts as well, including speciation as well, because it's going to play quite a significant role when it comes to understanding human evolution. Okay, so now basically, before we start with the entire topic of human evolution, we have to first find a way to classify ourselves. I'm sure this is not the first time you guys learning about biological classification. You guys are aware that whenever scientists want to classify organisms, they classify them into kingdoms, okay? So for us to be able to classify that this is a plant, this is an animal, this is a bacteria, this one is a fungi, this one is a monera or something like that, for us to be able to talk about different organisms, we have to look at their kingdom. Remember that you guys, we have got a 5-kingdom classification system. So it means that all the organisms, all the living organisms on Earth, they fall into the 5-kingdom classification system. I don't know if you guys can remember, who can still remember the 5 kingdoms of living organisms? The way to classify living organisms. What kingdoms do we have? Anyone who still have got a bit of knowledge? The kingdoms that we have of classifying living organisms, for us to say this organism is an animal, this organism is a plant. What kingdoms do we have? Yes, Mahlonolo?
I remember Monera, Protista, let me see, fungi and plantae, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And Animalia, as mentioned. And Animalia
Yes.
is mentioned.
Yes, so Mahlonolo remembers Monera, Protista, remembers kingdom fungi, as well as your kingdom Animalia and Plantae. So these are the 5 kingdoms of classifying living organisms. Okay, so what do these 5 kingdoms actually mean? This is a way of scientists to be able to group organisms, into certain kingdoms, okay, based on their characteristics. Okay, so these are all possible living organisms. Whenever we talk about living organisms, it means that it falls in either one of these 5 kingdoms. Okay, all living organisms that you see on Earth, whether it's your plants, whether it's your animals, whether it's your bacteria, whether it's your fungi, your microorganisms, all of those, they must fall into at least one of these 5 kingdoms. Kingdom Monera, we are talking about your bacteria, those small organisms that are found even in your stomach. You have got bacteria. Okay, they are very small and you can only see them on the microscope. We have got organisms that belong to the kingdom Protista. These are known as the protists. These ones are known as the protists. We have got organisms that are classified under the kingdom fungi. These are known as the fungus. And then we also have got the 2 most significant kingdoms, which are those which we relate to the most. We have got the kingdom Animalia as well as the kingdom Plantae. The kingdom Animalia, it consists of all animals, okay? When you talk about animals, you're talking about including us as humans, because we also fall into the kingdom Animalia of this 5-kingdom classification system. Okay, so we are animals, effectively. We are animals. Okay, we also have got kingdom Plantae. The kingdom Plantae, it is the plants. So Animalia, we're talking about your animals. Okay, so us as humans and animals, we belong to the same kingdom because we've got similar properties. Our biological structure is almost the same. The body of a human being kind of behaves the same way as the body of most animals. Okay, and particularly us as humans, we are mammals. we are not just animals, but we are mammals. And when we say that we are mammals, it means that we feed our babies using the milk from mammary glands. I'm sure you guys already know that from endocrine system, that we have got mammary glands, like our mothers have got mammary glands that produce some milk under the influence of prolactin hormone, right? So basically, for us as humans, we are classified as mammals. Mammals simply means that we feed our babies. So it simply means that we feed our babies using milk. Okay. We feed our babies using milk from the mammary glands. That's why we say we are mammals. So the mammary glands, the ones that are found in the breasts of a mother, are the ones that are feeding our babies with milk. So whenever you hear the term mammal, just know that it means that an animal that is feeding their babies with milk from the mammary glands. Can give me an example of mammals? Another example, besides humans, which other animals can we say which they are mammals? Which other animals can be classified as mammals? Anyone to give a try? Yes, Matebula?
Hyenas.
Hyenas, yes. Hyenas feed their babies with milk. I've never seen a hyena though feeding like in real time, but I usually watch National Geographic. Hyenas do feed their babies with milk. And then in the chat, Bonolo is saying a cow. Yes, that's true as well. A cow is a mammal because it also feeds their calf using the milk from their breasts. And then a manda, what else? What other animal can you say this one is a mammal?
An elephant or a lion.
Yes, an elephant as well. Elephants, they feed their baby elephants using their milk using mammary glands. So all of those are examples of your mammals. Those are animals that feed their babies using milk from the mammary glands. So as humans, we fall under the criterion of mammals and we are animals. So essentially our kingdom is Animalia. That's why we start with this flowchart. So the kingdom that humans belong to is Animalia. Okay. So now Animalia can be divided into two main classes. So we start with the kingdom. So this is our kingdom. So as humans, our kingdom is kingdom Animalia. It means that we are animals. That's the whole kingdom. That's the whole big kingdom of living organisms that we belong to. Now, the animals can be separated into two main classes based on their vertebral column. Okay, so I'm sure you guys know that we as humans, we have got a spine, right? A spine, like that spine is the bone where you find the spinal cord. If you just touch your back, you are going to feel the spine. So the spine there, or we can say the vertebral column, okay, is a way of classifying the kingdom Animalia organisms. So we have got two classes. We can have invertebrates or we can have vertebrates. Those are classes. Okay, so we have got invertebrates and we have got vertebrates, right? So after classifying into invertebrates and vertebrates, as humans, we belong to the vertebrates because basically humans have got a vertebral column. Okay, a human body has got a vertebral column. The animals that are found under kingdom Animalia, they can be separated into invertebrates and vertebrates, right? When we say that an animal is a vertebrate, it means that it has got a vertebral column or it has got a spine, that big bone that you feel at your back, the backbone, right? If you touch your back right now, you are going to feel a bone that is descending all the way from your head through your back all the way to your pelvis or all the way to your lower body. Okay, so us as humans, we are classified under vertebrates, or we are vertebrates because we have got the presence of a vertebral column, or we have got that bone. Can you guys understand that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. So now the vertebrates now can be classified into different classes. Okay. Now, when we go to under vertebrates, we have got different classes. So these are the classes that we have. Whenever we are doing biological classification, we move from the kingdoms, we go to the classes, right? The classes that we have of vertebrates, or of those animals that have got a backbone, we have got your reptiles. Your reptiles includes your lizards. It includes your chameleon. All of those are different types of reptiles. All right. And then we have got your fish. Fish is also a different class. It includes all of those things that you find inside the aquatic regions. That's your marine life, or that's your aquatic life. Okay. We also have got frogs. Frogs are also another class. Then we have got birds. Birds are also another class as well. And then us as humans, we fall into the class Mammalia. So the class that we belong to as humans is Mammalia. Simply Mammalia means that we are mammals, or it simply means that we are those animals that feed our babies using milk from the mammary glands. As I've already explained, that for an animal to be known as a mammal, I repeat again, Gretos, for an animal to be known as a mammal, it means that it feeds its babies through milk from the mammary glands. So humans, your hyenas, your cows, your elephant, and all of that, they all fall under Mammalia. Okay, so the class is known as Mammalia, but it simply means that we are mammals. We feed our babies using the milk from the mammary glands. Okay, then now we go to the order that we are as humans. So our order is the order of primates. Okay, so our order is known as primates. What are primates? Primates are simply those organisms that have got 5 fingers. The organisms that have got 5 fingers, and they also have got some fingernails. When you look at your hand has got 5 fingers. But when you look at the hands of a cow, the cow does not even have 5 fingers. So that's what makes our order to be different. Okay, but specifically for humans, our order is known as primates. So we belong to an order of organisms that have got 5 fingers in their hands, that have got some fingernails. If you look at your fingers, they've got some nails. You can, those, especially girls, you guys like to put extra nails, but we have got natural ones as well. All right. So one of them features that is essential is the order in classifying living organisms. The order simply tells you whether the animal has got 5 fingers, does it have a fingernail, and all of those other physical characteristics. So us as humans, we fall under the order of primates. Those are the organisms that have got 5 fingers, that have got some fingernails, and as well as an opposable thumb and stuff like that. Right. And then now for the suborder, do not worry too much about it. You are hardly questioned about the suborder. You have to try to do further study to understand it. But we have got your suborder Prosmi as well as your suborder Anthropoidea. But don't worry too much about it, at least for now. But if you continue doing this type of biology at higher levels or tertiary institution, you might need to know this. But for now, let's just say that this is the suborder that the humans belong to. Then now, when we now go to the family, so the last thing that we're going to look at is the family. The family to which humans belong, it is the Hominidae family. The family Hominidae consists of organisms such as humans, okay, organisms such as chimpanzees, organisms such as gorillas. All of those belong to the family Hominidae. Okay, so our family is hominidae. So hominidae usually involves these orangutans, your gorillas, your chimps, and your humans. We say that humans belong to the family Hominidae, the family consisting of orangutans, your gorillas, your chimps, as well as humans. Okay, so I just want to write something here. The gorillas, okay, we have got gorillas, we have got chimps, which are chimpanzees. These are apes. I'm sure you guys know them. We've got your chimpanzees, your gorillas, your chimpanzees, your orangutans, as well as your it's gorillas, your chimpanzees, your orangutans. These ones are known as African apes. Okay. So whenever we talk about gorillas, whenever we talk about chimpanzees, whenever we talk about orangutans, these are known as African apes. These are known as African apes because they originate in Africa, basically. Gorillas, chimpanzees, orangutans. Those are known as African apes. So as we continue with the topic, whenever you hear me saying African apes, I can either be referring to the gorillas, I can either be referring to the chimpanzees, I can either be referring to the orangutans. So any one of those three are known as the African apes. Okay. So now, lastly, remember that for us to have a scientific name, you learned that in grade 10, we must have a genus name as well as a species name. So whenever we want to write a scientific name of an organism, we write the genus name as well as the species name. So those are the two parts of a scientific name of an organism. You usually hear people saying Homo sapiens, people saying Australopithecus, all of those big names. Those are scientific names that are only divided into two parts, which is the genus and the species name. Whenever you hear names such as Homo sapien, or whenever you hear names such as Australopithecus, a name such as Ardipithecus, all of those are big names, and you'll be like, where are they coming from? Those are the names given by scientists to be able to identify a particular organism. Okay, so the genus name for humans, it is Homo. So the genus name for humans, it is Homo. And then the species name for humans is Sapien. So humans are Homo sapiens. So this is just a scientific name to refer to humans. So generally we call ourselves humans, but scientifically we are called Homo sapiens.